All right, today's gonna be a little different. I'm just gonna bring you along with me in the kitchen while I take care of some things that really need my attention. So I figure I can't be the only one who lets this happen, but maybe I am, you tell me. Welcome to Garden Preserve. I'm Carter, I'm so glad you're here today. Let's get started. All right, so when you're at Costco, you need 2 limes for a recipe, and this is what you get. You need a couple lemons, and this is what they have. You need a head of garlic, and this is what they have. And some mushrooms. So I have all these bits and bobs. This wasn't a Costco thing, but at Kroger, they only had a little 4-pack, and I only needed 1. So I've got a bunch of stuff that needs to get preserved before it dies, and I don't have anything specific to use it for. I also have some things coming in from the garden that are just coming in, onesie-twosie kind of thing. Like this was my first pickling cucumber that came in yesterday. I just did a quick pickle on it, threw them in here because, with cucumbers, turning them into pickles, you really want them in the brine, like immediately. If you could take the brine out to the cucumber, that would be even better. But, so I try to come in, cut off that blossom in, and get them straight in a brine or straight in the can or, whatever I'm going to do to preserve them. So I did that. I've got a few other things around, so I'm going to do a little dehydrating. I'm going to squeeze a lot of juice and can some juice. I think I'm going to do some roasted garlic, I don't know, hunks, I guess, for the freezer. So we'll do a little bit of everything and see how much we get done. Oh, I also have my kombucha. I think I've got like 9 scobies in my kombucha. So I could stand to do a little bit of work on that as well. So we'll see how far we get, but basically I just don't want to lose anything. I mean, I don't eat mushrooms very often. I'm going to start with the mushrooms because they're going to take the longest. I'm going to dehydrate these. So preserving everything is the resource I'm using here. And in the how to dry mushrooms, it says to dry them at 110 degrees, which makes it a little difficult for me to also dry herbs, which I like to do at 95 degrees, and tomatoes, which I typically do at 135 degrees. So we're going to see. I may slide some cherry tomatoes in there. We'll see. But 110 degrees between 4 and 8 hours, depending on how thick they are. So I'm going to get these cleaned up and just start getting them on the dehydrator. I just have an old Nesco dehydrator. I'm fine with my Nesco, I really am. I'm a right angle kind of girl, so the round thing kind of bothers me. But one of these days, I will get a square dehydrator and have my right angles, and it'll be just fine. But for now, this works great. So I'm gonna get these cleaned up, and I'm gonna bring you down. You can kind of watch what I'm doing off and on throughout the day. It's certainly not a tutorial on how to clean and slice mushrooms. So I'm sure you're grateful. All right, I'll bring you down.
I look out across the water, I smell the salt, I feel the breeze, but in my heart I hear the calling of my old home, Tennessee. We don't know where these rivers flow, why the wind chooses when and where to blow. The sun is gonna rise each and every time
the dehydrator. So I ended up putting them at 115, and they'll go till they go. Who knows. So I'm going to do the citrus next. Now you have to heat citrus to, I think it's 180 degrees before you can it. I don't know exactly why, but that's what everybody's instructions say. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start with the orange juice, and then I think I'm going to do the lime juice and the lemon juice as a blend. I may change my mind on that, but right now I'm thinking I'm going to do it as a blend, because the way I see using this is not for canning, but for like flavoring kombucha. I like a really tart kombucha sometimes. I may throw a strawberry or something in there to get a little extra fizz, but I don't like a real sweet kombucha. And I also like, the sparkling water drinks, and so I love this to flavor it. In the summer when it's hot, I may have a white wine spritzer or a club soda with lime, so it'd be like a lime and lemon juice. So that's kind of how I see using this. But anyway, we'll think about that. And I may regret the whole decision, because this is my citrus juicer. This thing is probably as old as I am. I remember having this in the kitchen when I was a kid. So I'm 59. so we'll see if we both survive this. All right, I'm gonna start with the orange juice, get it heated up. I've got my jars set up in the steam canner, so I'm going to turn that on gently. Once the orange juice is heated up to temperature, I'll put it in the jars and then just let it sit in a warm steam canner while I work my way through the rest of the citrus. So, wish me luck. All right, we'll start with the orange juice. This orange juice will be good for a little while longer in the fridge, but we're just not big juice drinkers. I buy something for a recipe, and I don't know, I feel like things come to my house to die sometimes, and I hate that. So we're going to do better about that this year. There we go. So I'm going to do this in half pints. This is 8 ounces here. So we'll just move this from the fridge to the shelf. I think that'll be good. I have not canned orange juice before. I've canned plenty of oranges. I haven't done just the juice, which is why I find myself in a pickle having to buy a 4-pack. I really only need one. I'm going to get this on the stove, and then we'll start the lemons and limes. Let's see how crazy this is going to be. Let's do limes first. At least I'm not fighting the seeds. I'll save out a couple. Perhaps I'll find some use with some fresh limes. Orange juice came up to temperature. I put it in its jars. I have done the lime juice. I ended up with 1 cup exactly. Saved myself out 3 limes, a bag of the squeezed limes. So I've got plenty to do something with. I don't know whether I will infuse some vinegar for salad dressings, whether I will infuse some vinegar for cleaning, or one of the things I've done, oh my goodness, forever, in my first apartment It was a nightmare of an apartment. It was really, really cheap. You know, it had the brown shag rug that, oh, anyway. I had disposal issues, and the guy told me that if I would throw some ice cubes and half a lemon or half a lime and churn it up every now and then, that would keep it smelling fresh and keep it cleared out and churned everything around. So I've always could have done that, but I'm thinking that I can just freeze these and throw them in as little disposal cleaning pucks. So, I don't know. Give me your thoughts. Maybe that was bad advice. I don't know. I've done forever. But we'll see. All right, I'm going to get the lemons going. I'd like to get a cup of this as well. Save out a couple. I'm going to go ahead and mix it in. Tell you what, this little thing it's going to be fun with the seeds. I'm going to tell you, I need to do a little bit better than this, I think. So the limes, it turned out, did better when I put them facing like that in this. And I think the lemons are too big to go kind of head down. So I don't know, we'll try this one and see. Which way do you do yours? Oh my goodness, yeah. That's not gonna work in this one. So I'll get a cup and then I'll stop. So I have 3 half pints of the orange juice, which is perfect. This bag, today is July, I can't read it. Today is July, let me see. Tuesday was the 4th, today's Saturday. So what does that make it, like the 8th or something? Picked up the lemons on the 3rd, and one of them in the bag was 3 or 4 years past its prime. Just, I don't know, it's been happening a lot lately. That is right at 2 cups of lemon lime juice. So I'm going to stick that in the pot to heat up, and then we'll put it in the jars and get it canning. It only goes in a water bath or a steam canner for 15 minutes. So quick and easy, and it'll be done, and I didn't waste anything. These are kind of big. I think I'm going to cut these in quarters to throw them down the disposal. All right, moving right along. We have the citrus juice in the steam canner right now. The timer has started, so Alexa will tell me when that is ready. I have the mushrooms and the tomatoes in the dehydrator. This is the little chore I'm most dreading. I hate peeling garlic, but I think it's going to be the end product that I use more than any other that I'm doing today. So I'm going to peel all this garlic. This was soft-knit garlic. It's been around in my kitchen for a while from Costco. My garlic has now come in, so I'd like to use that for my fresh garlic. I did hard-neck garlic because I like the bigger cloves. It's easier to peel. So I'm gonna deal with this today, and then hopefully not have to do it again. So I'm just gonna stick it on a little pan, and I'm gonna use some olive oil on top. So because of that, I'm probably gonna do it low and slow, maybe 275, 300, probably 300. And we'll just let it go till it's done. And then I'm gonna scoop it into little, I don't know, I could put it in one of my little silicone molds or just put it on a tray and stick it in the freezer and then toss it into a bag and be able to throw it into whatever veggies or steak sauce or whatever it is that I'm doing. I love roasted garlic, so I'm gonna love it when it's done, not so much while I'm doing it. So we are, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it or not, but we have some crazy thunder and lightning, and the rain is just now starting. So it is 4:45 and it's almost dark outside. So anyway, the lights will probably flicker. I may flicker. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, I'm perfectly happy in my kitchen. I have lots of projects to do, and I can rain all I want to out there. The garden will be happy. All right, I'm going to get on with this and turn it into something wonderful.
I look out across the water, I smell the song, I feel the breeze, but in my heart I hear the calling of my old home, Tennessee. We don't know where these rivers flow, or why the wind chooses when and where to blow. The sun is gonna rise each and every time, but I've still got Tennessee on my mind. From Reaper's Fall, the sun is gonna rise each and every time, and I've still got Tennessee on my mind. I miss the smoke on the Cumberland and the fireflies at midnight, and the color of the leaves in the fall. Who are we to know where these rivers flow, or why the wind chooses when and where to blow? The sun is gonna rise each and every time, and I've still got Tennessee on. Yeah, I've still got Tennessee on my mind. Yeah.
All right, well that took a while. I have a big dish of peeled garlic. I'm just gonna drizzle a little olive oil on it. Got the oven preheating to 300. I'm gonna cover it loosely with some foil. And I'm just gonna check on it off and on. I have no idea how long it's gonna take, quite frankly. And when this comes out, I'm gonna kind of mush it together a bit. And then stick it in the freezer in little, I don't know, whatever size I think I'm gonna use in a recipe. So maybe it's I have no idea. We'll see when I get there. All right, I'm gonna stick this in. I am not gonna be making pesto tonight because it is still raining and it is pretty darn dark outside. I don't know if you can hear that thunder right now. But anyway, so I do have a couple of other things to do and hopefully I can get to them tonight. All right, I'm gonna get this in. Oh, I wanted to tell you also that the juice, I hope you can see that. The juice is out of the canner, everybody's sealed, and that part is good to go. Dehydrator's still running and will be running probably for quite some time. All right, this is going in and I'll check on it I don't know, I'll check on it in 30 minutes and then we'll keep going. It could be 2 hours for all I know. I don't know, we'll see. All right, my roasted garlic is out of the oven. It smells heavenly in here. All right. See if you can see that or not. Oh, it smells amazing. Amazing. All right, so my plan is to kind of squish this up with a fork and then spoon it onto this in little tubs. I don't know. Squishes up pretty easily. All right, so let's talk about how we're going to use this. So definitely in sauces, gravies, that kind of stuff. I don't know how else. If I ate dairy, it'd be fun mixed in with some cheese, wouldn't it? And spread on crackers. Oh my goodness. All right, so give me some ideas. How would you use something like this? I'm going to freeze it in little hunks and be able to pull it out whenever I need it, which I think is going to be often once I figure out exactly what I'm going to do with it. All right, let's see how this goes. You see my hand? I think you can. Let's see, looks good to me. Do you think I want it in bigger hunks? I don't know. I wonder if my freezer is going to smell like roasted garlic now. That's a possibility. Not that that's a bad thing. David may not appreciate it, but we'll see. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I hope this is going to be a useful thing to have. I know it's going to be delicious. I think I'll cover it up with some foil and some, oh, it's really good. I'll put some foil and some saran wrap on it maybe, and hopefully that'll help the smell. All right, so I'm going to get this in the freezer, close the kitchen down for the day. Tomorrow, we'll do the pesto, and I'll show you kind of the results of everything we did today. All right, see you in the morning. All right, it's the next day. We ended up getting almost 2 inches of rain yesterday. I mean, it rained. We had some serious rain. So I never made it out to get the basil last night, but I did get the basil this morning. I'll bring you down and show you all of this going on here. So we're gonna make some pesto, both for the freezer and for my lunch today. And I brought in some more tomatoes because we're expecting another ½ inch of rain. So I got in anything that was kind of blushing. So I didn't have any more cracking. I've got some good crack resistant varieties going this year, so it's okay. And then I brought in the last 4 cabbages because I didn't want them to split. I also brought in some slugs with the cabbages. They're like my least favorite thing. So I set up my beer traps this morning, cut all the cabbages out, And now I have my cabbages, 3 of the 4, soaking in a saltwater bath to try to de-slugify. And I don't know, we'll work on that. So let me show you. I'm going to bring you around and show you kind of what we have going on here. You can see. All right, so there's a big batch of basil. There's a big batch of basil. You know, I always complain that I don't have enough basil planted, so I plant more. I had a bunch of plants in the grow room downstairs, so I harvested those today and then moved them out. There's the one cabbage that seems to be slug-free, and some of the tomatoes I collected today, and then you can see the other cabbages still in purgatory there, soaking in a bucket in the sink. So I'm going to get to getting this basil ready for the blender. Alright, so I'm just going to pull the leaves off. Tender stems don't bother me at all. I can leave those in, but the tough stems I am going to go ahead and pull out, and then we'll get ready to make some pesto. Push this out of the way so I can get a good working space. Okay. I have 2 different types of basil here. I have the regular Genovese, which is this little one here. And then I have the big lettuce leaf basil, which is that. This is the one that's been growing in the garden. This has been growing in the crawl space in the salad bar. So I have just moved it out. Basil's just been so happy with all the rain we've been having. Although we've had some pretty hot days, I do have it fairly well protected this year. Sometimes we can get so blistering hot and that sun just beats down on it, and the basil in my garden just can't take that. So this year I did a better job of protecting it a little bit underneath the tomatoes. Alright, I'm going to let these finish drying. I ordinarily wash my basil, but I did throw some dirty tomatoes on top of it when I wasn't thinking, so I went ahead and washed it this time. But I definitely don't want any water in my pesto or it won't freeze as well as I'd like. So I'm going to let these completely dry, and then we'll get to making some pesto. There is no room left on my counter, so we need to make this pesto. So I have done a video on how I make my pesto. It's an old video, but it's still the same, so I'm not going to measure or anything this time. I'm just going to turn it into pesto and get it off my counter. I'll link the video up above. I may even have a short on it as well. I don't know. How do y'all feel about shorts? I've done maybe 8, and I don't know that I find any value in them. I don't know. YouTube kids, they keep pushing them. But I don't know. Do you watch shorts? Sometimes they just annoy me more. But anyway, give me your thoughts, because I'm all for doing shorts if you want some. Alright, I'm going to start with my walnut. I used to use pine nuts, but I've looked at the cost of pine nuts lately. You know, I'm not going to do that. Alright. I'm going to turn off the volume for this so I don't blast you out of here, okay? Perfect. Yum. Okay. That one's good to go. I'll show you how I package this up. I'm going to do it in just little freezer bags. And then I'm going to lay it flat on a little, I guess it's called a quarter sheet, cookie sheet. Little one, stick it in the freezer and let them freeze flat. And then I can stand them up on the door in my freezer. Keeps them nice and tidy, out of the way. They don't get lost, nothing's laying flat. All right, so put about a cup in each bag, which is the right amount for us for some pasta pesto for dinner. So do the amount that feels right for you. I'm going to lay this down, squeegee the bottom, push it out. If there's any extra air in here, I don't know if you can really see this, I think we can. And get it all the way to the top there and squeegee it out. And then I'll show you the pan. I'll lay it just like that. I'll do another stack over here and I'll just keep stacking them up and then stick them in the freezer. And they'll be done and ready for this winter or whenever we want them. I love pesto. All right, I'm gonna keep going. I'll see you back in a bit. All right, so I just brought the roasted garlic in from the freezer. It was in there all night. Let's see what we have here. Good news is my garage didn't smell like garlic. The bad news is it smelled like rotting grass. My husband, who cut the grass before he left town a couple of days ago, he just put the bags in the garage, and it is overwhelming. Look at that! Looks like caramel or something, doesn't it? Let me get a spatula. Oh, it smells fantastic. Ah, look at that. Okay, so if you didn't know better, couldn't smell, that would look like a dessert, wouldn't it? All right, so I'm gonna put a few of those in a freezer bag. A little piece and taste it. Okay, there we go. So I think that was 6 kind of globs of, or 8, I think it was 8 maybe, globs of roasted garlic. So we'll taste this one. It's cold, but it's delicious. You see the olive oil settled on the bottom, so that's the back. So I'm going to stick these in the freezer, and we're going to make it a point to use them. That was a great use, and I'm so glad that I have preserved that garlic. All right, I'm going to go stick these in the freezer. All right, I think the shrooms are done as well. These were not done when I went to bed last night, so I just unplugged them. Started them up again this morning. But you can see now they are crispy. So that's perfect. I'm going to let these just cool off, and then I'm going to stick them in a jar. Yeah, those are perfect. Okay, yay, another one done. All right, let's wrap up our little impromptu preservation story here. So we have the roasted garlic, and I just froze them in hunks and stuck them in this baggie. And I'm really excited about that. I'm actually making some bread today, so I may try some on a piece of bread. I dehydrated some baby bellas. I wasn't going to use them fresh, and I hate to see them go to waste. So I don't know what I'll use them for, but maybe I'll throw them in a gravy. I did lemon lime juice, so I went through 2 bags of lemons and limes. Got those all squeezed up there in here. I also had some leftover orange juice from a recipe. Came in a 4-pack and I only needed 1. So now I have that ready for the shelf. I have 5 baggies of pesto. This is not completely frozen yet, but it will be soon. And I still have the cherry tomatoes. Those are in the dehydrator still. They're a little behind because these had to dehydrate at a much lower temperature. So those will be out soon. I feel really good that I got all of this done and I'm not throwing any of it away. I'm not losing the pesto in the garden. So that's great. I'm so excited you're here for it. So I hope you enjoyed this. It wasn't anything spectacular, but it certainly was productive, and I was happy to have you here with me. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.